going to talk about my 10 favorite songs from 311. There'll be timestamps in the description that you can navigate through. So just quickly, the way this video works is I listen to all the 311 songs from all the albums and all the singles and all the stuff that they've done. And then I tell you what I think of the 10 best songs. I don't actually put the songs in the music, because of like copyright, issues. But I do make 10 shorts. Starting the day this goes up, there'll be 10 shorts, one each day for the most part. And then in those shorts, if you want to listen to those as well, you'll hear the songs, the playlists, and all that stuff in the description. So, 311, formed in the late 80s in Omaha, Nebraska. Their first major album was in 1993. They had some self-promoted albums before that, but that's when they really kind of like had like a major label thing. They've had 14 studio albums since 1993. The last album they did was in 2024. With that, there have been like over 30 singles. The band's been around for pretty much 40 years with the same members. Since they had their first like major record, it's been all the same guys, which is very, very rare for bands. It's a typical 5-piece band, or if you think of like a 4-piece with 2 singers, I guess is how you would think about that. So guitar, drums, bass, vocals, but 2 dudes who do vocals. One of the guys plays guitar, Nick Hexum. He plays guitar and he plays technically rhythm. There's a lead guitar player, but he plays a lot of lead stuff too. Then there's S.A., who's the guy who also sings and the dual vocalist, and he does like turntables and like DJ stuff as well, and like keyboards and stuff like that. One guy sings more, one guy raps more, but they do kind of switch that up. There's a very much a reggae rock sound, a very heavy rock mixed with very, very traditional reggae sound to most of their songs. They have an extremely dedicated fan base. They're like a more modern day Grateful Dead with the Deadheads, or like the Jimmy Buffett, just island people who are all into him. Excitables is one of the terms they use. The 311 Nation is another term that they use. I said they have the reggae kind of sound. It's mixed with hip hop. They've actually toured and done like big tours with people like Snoop Dogg, The Roots, Modest Yahoo, The Wailers, who were Bob Marley's band. They're big for doing rock cruises. They were one of the first bands to kind of do that. It's a big popular thing now, but they were doing it early on. 311, the name of the band, is the date. It's 311 Day. They do these big events where they'll play over a course of sometimes a few days, but sometimes like even like I think in a single night, they'll do like 80 to 100 plus even songs, lots of covers and all kinds of different stuff. So a very, very dedicated fan base that you wouldn't really know if you just heard them on the radio and that's all you really knew about them. Count Me In from Universal Pulse in 2011. This was also a single. This song has a really cool guitar intro. It almost has like a country like lick to it, but it has a very island rock tone. What I like about this song the most is just the tones in general are what make this one of my favorite songs. Really cool wah sounds, really cool slap and bass, just a lot of really unique guitar effects. I say unique, I mean it's common kind of reggae sounding stuff, but it sounds really, really cool the way they're doing it. The hook melody, the chorus melody is really, really cool. The song goes from like a beautiful disaster, maybe later in the list, spoiler, kind of vibe to a very, very reggae kind of vibe. The second verse, you get more rapping. The first verse is kind of singing, then you get rapping, and then the third verse is very like reggae to it. So it kind of like progresses each verse. It kind of changes style. There's no real guitar solos other than that country kind of licks, double stop sounding licks in the beginning. They do that again in the end. There's no like real guitar solos other than just those like melodic things. And yeah, cool track. Fuck the Bullshit from Music in 1999. This was originally on one of their self-released, but had like the numbers on the keyboard, the top of the keyboard is like the words. And then it was technically a hidden track on Music. It was after the last song called Fat Chance. But Fat Chance is only like a minute, and then there's like, it ends, and then this song starts right away. So it just wasn't listed as a song. On the 30th anniversary of Music, it was listed as its own track. So just this part, because I don't like the Fat Chance part at all. But this song is really awesome. Has a super rock heavy guitar chorus, but then a very like almost sloppy guitar hip hop verse for the vocals. It almost has like a very Beastie Boys kind of sound to it. The bass is playing all kinds of different stuff that's awesome all over the place throughout the whole song. There's a bridge that's very, very heavy, like Metallica sounding. And then there's a very slow halftime kind of groove. There's lots of different parts to this song. But I would say the main part is like the Beastie Boys sounding stuff. Mostly it's unison singing from either Nick Hexum or SA, but then at the end they come and they sing together. It's a very kind of cool hip hoppy, one of their most hip hoppy songs, and just kind of weird being a hidden track, but not really a hidden track, kind of. Flowing from Sound System in 1999. This song was a single, but it wasn't nearly as commercially a big hit as Come Original, which was also a single on this. This song has a really dreamy sounding step filter intro, and actually the song is about insomnia, which I think Nick Hexum, the singer in this song, mainly singing, suffers from. The cymbals in the beginning give it a very dreamy vibe. The filter on the guitar gives it that vibe. The music, when it really comes in, it's actually very, very heavy. The vocals give it the spacey, kind of dreamy vibe. There's also a very reggae sound to the vocal, which is typical with a lot of their stuff. But you take away that, and it's a super heavy sounding song without that. The verses are driving and moving. It's kind of like an organized chaos to it a little bit. This song, for having this insomnia kind of theme, it reminds me a lot of Dream Theater has an album called 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, and their songs about all kinds of like mental struggles and issues and stuff. And the songs are very thematic, and this song is very thematic, just like that whole kind of album is. The one side of it that goes to that. The song fades at the end, like you're falling asleep, because again, part of the theme. It's a very, very cool song. Lose from Grassroots in 1994. This is a very, very super chill song. There's like really cool sounding like bells or chimes or something that kind of go throughout it. It has very much like almost a swing jazz lounge vibe, but if it was like a hookah jazz lounge in a room is kind of how it feels. There's cross stick drumming in it, which I love, which is where they're hitting the side of the stick, like on the side of the rim of the drum, which sounds super cool. It goes from having that hookah jazz lounge vibe to more like an island vibe as the song goes. There's really, really awesome long guitar solo at the end that's a very jam band solo. It doesn't sound like a solo you would typically hear 311 having a lot of their like radio hits. It sounds more like a solo you'd hear them just playing live to jam out, which is awesome. It's the longest song on this list. Has a very, very cool rhythmic part at the end I like a lot too. Reminds me very much of Jimi Hendrix, If 6 Was 9. Cool song. All Mixed Up from 1995 on their self-titled third album. This song has an iconic kind of 3-chord intro. When you hear it, you know the song right away. There's 2 hits, and then there's like a strumming of the 3rd chord. Nick Hexum is rapping in this, where he's usually known for more singing. But in this one, he's doing rapping, and SA, who usually raps more, is kind of doing the singing. They switch it up. It is called All Mixed Up. I actually don't know if that's related or not. I just realized that literally as I was saying it. It's not in my notes. But yeah, it's very, very rock heavy for all the stuff around it. It's a thing that 311 does in a lot of their songs where there's really strong, heavy guitars and everything around it doesn't really fit that, but the whole song fits. At this time of music, you didn't really hear in the mid-90s a lot of fast rapping in songs on the radio that were like rock songs. There's a lot of cussing in this song that you didn't hear in those kind of songs that were like radio hits. It's using a sample and like DJ stuff in a cool way. Just a very different hip-hoppy song, not really as reggae as they're known for, but they do hip-hoppy stuff too, and this is probably one of their best and most commercially successful hip-hoppy versions of a song that they do. Don't Tread on Me, the title track from their 8th album released in 2005. This is probably the most traditional sounding reggae song I have on this list. They do a lot of reggae stuff, and I really, really like this song for being like pretty much full on reggae. I really don't like when it's like 60-70% reggae, which is a lot of their songs actually. I like when it's like full on reggae, or they just don't really have it that much at all and it's like 10-20%. This is perfect. This is the perfect amount of reggae for me for what they do. The guitars are super heavy again for it being a very reggae sound. Those guitars are still awesome and heavy. It's what makes them 311. Super cool bridge. The drums really pick up in the bridge. It has a very jazzy, almost whiplash, if it was on an acid trip kind of feel. You get a heavy chorus at the end that's very aggressive that I like a lot too. Those are the things that make me think this song is awesome. You Wouldn't Believe from Chaos 2001. This was also a single. This song has a super cool structure. It's what I like about it the most. The intro guitar riff is awesome. It has a really cool effect on it, like an underwater kind of sounding effect. The pre-chorus has like an awesome groove. The chorus has an awesome groove. The grooves are one of the favorite things as well as like the songwriting structure of it. The post-chorus is really short, and then there's like a fast kind of rap talking part, and you get right back to the chorus again. I like how they do that. I love the lyric, you might think he's a jester, make you laugh till you cry. I don't know, I just think that's so cool the way they do that. The very ending of the song is awesome. It sounds like it could fade out, and then it gets like kind of a calm a minute, and then you get like the drums just smash in. Like he sounds like he's like actually pissed off, and he's just like, the song should kind of calmly fade out. He's like, I don't think so. Like when those church drummer guys kind of look at the camera and then do something funny and they piss off the pastor. That's kind of how the end of the drums in this song sound, which I think is amazing. You're Gonna Get It from 2024 on Full Bloom. This song has a producer and co-writer who's the drummer currently in Linkin Park, which is kind of cool. It's a very professional sounding song, probably the most professional sounding song on this list. It has an intro that has like it's almost like a violin, I think, being plucked that I think sounds really cool. It's a lot of really cool ambiance from the reverb on the guitar and his voice as the song starts. It's very, very chill. You get to the pre-chorus and there's a drum that kind of picks up. The vocals get a little bit more rushed, a little bit more emotional. Then the song stops, it drops, and then you get this super heavy groove that comes in. It doesn't really sound 311 to me, but it hits so hard, the groove. I love it. I like how Essay at the end of the verses, he's doing like more rapping. I wish they did a guitar solo. It would maybe be a little higher on the list if they did. There is really no guitar solo. It's also a very short song. It's the shortest song on this list, I believe. The end, it kind of starts to do something. It's like a little bit of a different vibe, and then it starts. So I kind of wish with the solo and maybe the end having a little more, maybe it would be my favorite song, but it's pretty close to the top. Beautiful Disaster from Transistor in 1997. This was the last single from that record, but it was definitely the most successful, I believe. This song was used in all kinds of like video games and TV shows and stuff at the time. It was super heavy. It almost had like a heavy Tool sounding intro. And then it had these dual guitars that had a very like Iron Maiden, if Iron Maiden was like playing on the beach somewhere kind of vibe. The effects used on the vocals are super awesome. The reverbs and the echoes that they use. This is a song that's a really heavy song with just a little bit of the reggae elements tucked in there here and there. You know, 311 is a very reggae heavy band. And this is what I like, when they just kind of tuck it in just a little bit. And it's really just more heavy that's going on. You didn't really hear this kind of song on the radio, this style at the time again. It's just very, very chill with the vocals, but just a really crazy heavy song for as chill as the vocals are. Really, this song, the chorus and the hook is like the least memorable part. All the melodies from the guitars and the vocal melodies that they're playing with like the verses and the pre-choruses, those I think are all memorable way more than the chorus. The chorus is the least memorable part of this whole song, what makes it really unique and cool to me. Down from their self-titled album in 1995. This song I think was many people's kind of intro to the band. Has a super awesome metal like Hendrix wah intro, which is so cool. The whole first verse is rapping. He comes in and he says chill, and then he just raps a whole bunch. And I think for people, probably if this was your first time really hearing them, you're like, what is this? It's like a rock song, sounds like a rock song, but then there's all this rapping. You get to the first chorus, and then you get like more kind of singing, and it's calmer. You get a really, really heavy bridge breakdown. When the guitar comes back again after that, you get rapping in the second verse. The guitar doesn't sound the way you normally think guitars sound in a song like these. The rapping and the vocals aren't the way you normally think. You hear turntables, which wasn't really common at the time. If you listen to it in stereo, so like headphones, you hear the turntable scratching in the bridge on each ear, which is really cool. They have like a very dreamy vibe for as heavy as all the stuff is. Then you get to that dreamy kind of bridge, and that's strange, but it's all strange in a great way. Super, super heavy outro, taking kind of the theme of the song in the beginning and doing it again. Just an amazing song. Combines all the different strange things that would be strange in most cases that 311 does, but when they do them, super heavy, hip hop, reggae, it all comes together in like this awesome way.